Hello there and welcome to today's video in which I'll be showing you how to make these little polymer clay flowers in the form of a sunflower, a daisy and a gerbera. I'll be using these tools here, so I've got a couple of little tiny cookie cutters, my needle tool, a medium-sized ball tool and my blades cutting tool. And I'll also be using my pasta machine a fair few times on this one, and I'm using it at a setting 3 on the Marcato Atlas. So I'm going to start with the daisy, as it's one of the first flowers to peep through every spring. So I've got some nice white polymer clay here and I'm using Fimo Professional, but you can of course use whatever polymer clay you fancy. So with my slightly larger round tool here, I'm making a series of white petals. It's really easy. And now I've a fair few of those. I'm just going to lift those up from my work surface here, just with my blades cutting tool, to ensure that they keep nice and neat really. So now I just need to start placing them on my circle here. And you might need to reposition a few as you go along, but it's starting to come together quite nicely now. So now I'm happy with the positioning of my petals. I'm just going to start pressing them down in the centre, and I'm going to start creating a second layer, and this time I'm positioning the petals so that they're basically in the middle of the previous sets of petals, if that makes sense. So it starts to build up really nicely. And again I'm just going to press down in the centre. And now it's time for my third and final layer, and again just going around in a similar fashion to before. So there we go. So now I've got a nice ball of yellowy orangey clay, and I'll just pop that into the centre and press down. And with my small size ball tool here, I'm just going to create a series of dots like so, and I am trying to make these as neat as possible. So you can see a nice pattern starting to come together now. So I'm just ensuring that all the petals are laid down nice and flat, and take off any debris, and I'll leave that to one side. So now it's time for the Gerbera, and I've been calling these Gerberas for years, but I've just found out via a pronunciation thing on YouTube that it's Gerbera. So similarly to before, I'm just going to go and create a series of nice petals for my Gerbera, and I'm making mine in a lovely hot pink. So this is actually Fimo Effect polymer clay, I think. So I'm using the slightly larger tool again just to make my petals. And I'll start placing those onto the circular piece. Like so. And you can of course make whatever colour you fancy. There are a few colours of Gerberas, all in quite vibrant colours. I think a nice orange would work well too. So I've got my first layer of petals down, so I'm just going to press those down in the centre. And I'll start on my second layer. And as with my daisy, I'm just trying to ensure that the second layer of petals fall somewhere between the previous petals on layer 1. So I can just finish that layer off like so. and I'll start pressing down in the centre again. So now I need to work on my third and final layer. So I'll just do exactly the same as before. The leaves are of a very similar size to the previous layers, so they don't get smaller or anything like that. And that's done, so I can start pressing that down in the centre. So I've got some brown clay here. I'm just trying to curve that over because I want that to go into the centre, like so. But because there isn't enough height there, I'm just going to do the same with another piece of the same brown clay. And I'll just pop some black polymer clay right in the centre, like so. And to create a bit of texture on the centre piece, I'm just using my needle tool here and just sort of constantly scraping really until I'm happy with the effects. And I've made some really nice kind of gold clay here, just with some yellow and orange. So I'll start adding some teeny tiny pieces to the brown. And this bit can take a little while because there are quite a few pieces that need to go on. So there we go, just some finishing touches, and my Gerbera is all done. So I'll just place that to one side as well. So finally I can make the sunflower, and it's basically the same size as the daisy and the Gerbera, but you can obviously make yours a lot bigger. So I've made a really nice colour of polymer clay here just by mixing some yellow and some orange clay. So just going to make a centerpiece as before. And I'm using the smaller of my cookie cutters or fondant cutters here, as sunflower petals are a lot smaller. So again, I just need to make a series of teeny tiny petals. And I'll just start adding those to the centerpiece like so. So I'm keeping them fairly close to the edge of the centerpiece. So now I've got my layer down, I can just start pressing down in the center. And I need to create a second layer. Probably a little confusing trying to watch this because all the pieces look so similar, but you know, it's just a case of building up on petals really. And I'll just pat those down in the centre again. So I've got some fairly dark brown clay here. I'm just making a circular piece, and that fits in quite snugly into the centre of my sunflower. So I'll just start pressing that down. And I've got a darker piece here, I think it's actually a true black polymer clay, so I'll just pop that down in the centre. And with my brown clay, I'm just going to go around and create a load of teeny tiny little polymer clay balls. And yeah, you probably need a little bit of patience to do this. Takes just a little bit of time really. And And I'm just going to add a little bit more black to the centre because I think it needs to be raised a little. And I'll just create a little bit of texture with my needle tool here, like so. And a few more little balls on here, I think, just to neaten it off ever so slightly. And my sunflower is all done. So now my flowers are ready to be baked. And at this point you'll need to refer to your own brand of polymer clay's baking instructions. And here they are, all done, and yeah, pretty happy with these, particularly as they were a first attempt. So I think they're really versatile pieces. I'll probably add some pin badge attachments to the reverse, but they'd also work as pendants, I think, too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.